got the answer right here, ladies and gentlemen, to everything that ails you. Now step right up.
One who quacks like a duck about his salves and remedies. The cruel practice of making money on people's worries appeared throughout the years as quackery.
I said cured of backache, nervousness,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Quackery. Sorry, that was supposed to be like the Count off of Sesame Street.
Well, it sounded like Count Chocula.
Yeah, you know, Count Chocula, the Count. You know, they're all vampires, and they all have something in common with our topic this week, is drinking blood. Will the Pill here, and John, what's the guy's name off of Dracula? John...
Oh, yeah, Jonathan Harker.
Jonathan Harker, yeah.
Yeah, that's my alias. I use that all the time.
Wicked. Oh, secret's out, man.
That's my favorite book
Do you see
ever
any
written, dude.
stuff on OnlyFans by Jonathan Harker? Now you know it was...
OnlyFans?
Isn't that the new
I don't know.
COVID
Social
porn
media?
site?
Dude,
like,
that
I don't know.
is
I've
my
never been on
favorite
there.
book of all freaking time, though, man. I know I don't read much fiction, but that book is so scary, man.
Nice. I
The
actually haven't
movies
read
don't
the
do
original.
it any justice,
No,
man.
none
The
of them.
movies suck. Yeah.
But I was going to ask you, so I've posted a picture here of one of a good vampire movie. It is an interview with a vampire.
Yeah,
It's not
Brad
bad. You seen
Pitt.
that one? I like that one, yeah. I was going to ask you, what's your favorite vampire movie?
Is Blade one of...
Damn it, you stole
I guess
mine.
he was...
So,
well, no, I'm looking at the
yeah.
slide. That's with Wesley Snipes, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, but the reason
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I
well,
put
I guess
Blade
that-
on here is because there's going to be a new Marvel Blade movie coming out.
Oh, sick.
Should be sweet.
Who's gonna be
It's
the
got,
Blade?
It's not going to be Wesley Snipes. It's going to be the guy... shoot, I forgot his name. I should have put it on here. It's the
I
guy...
know. I think I know you're talking about. He's in the.
He always wears
all
like the
other
small round glasses.
If it's not Blade, because I wasn't going to guess that. I just saw the slide. It'd probably have to be. I'd probably want to go with the show True Blood. To be honest, I don't know if
I actually
that
really like
qualifies.
True Blood too.
Yeah,
It's kind of like embarrassing, but I like it.
yeah. I have the books, like all of what's her name, Christine Harris, or I don't know, really, Christine Harris.
Oh yeah,
I had bought
isn't it called
her
Sookie
books.
Stackhouse or something like that?
Yeah, I bought them, but it was
You
like
haven't
at
read
a one of those book sales. I never read them.
Nice, that a boy. It's Mahershala Ali. You guys might not remember who he is, but if you look him up, he's won 2 Oscars, so the dude's legit. He's gonna be playing Blade. They haven't announced when it's coming out yet, but they've announced they're doing it. So anyway, yeah, Blade. I like Blade, dude. Wesley Snipes and Blade, badass. Love that. Dude.
Yeah, that was a great movie, man.
What is it he says in there? That one quote he said. Oh, yeah. You motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah.
That is a quote of the century,
Yeah.
man. Damn.
Dude, I want to watch that.
Yeah,
so
some
bad right
motherfuckers
now.
always trying to ice skate uphill. Man. So this isn't really about vampires. It's about actually where people would try to drink blood for their health. And I'm not going to go into every example of this, but I'll start with where we kind of get our quote-unquote myth of vampires, right? And I found this pretty fascinating. I think John and I might have to go do a little in-depth on the Vlad the Impaler here, I think.
Yes.
That's where the Vlad Dracula or Count Dracula came from. He was a real guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so he was really ruthless in battle, and he would impale his enemies like on spikes. And then they said like after the battle, he would just like casually eat, and that he was rumored that he would dip his bread onto the blood and eat it. So that's why they thought he was like a vampire. And he was actually born into the family of Vlad Dracul.
Oh.
Dracula means son of Dracul. And so Dracula, and actually Dracul comes from Draco, which is dragon, because his dad was inducted into the Order of the Dragon, which is a part of the Holy Roman Empire, Emperor Sigismund. They would defend Europe against the Ottoman Empire. I don't know. Pretty cool stuff, though. Like when you say like Dracula is from Dragon, I guess it makes you realize all these like dragon references to it.
Well, I was going to say, what year is this?
Oh yeah, let me double check here.
Dude, this is really cool, man. I didn't
Isn't
know
that cool?
any. Yeah, no, I didn't know
man.
any of this stuff.
It's, I think so 1400s. Yeah. Yeah, 1436. He became the ruler in his father's stead, and he's pretty ruthless, pretty badass dude here, man. But one other thing with vampires, man, it's not just. It doesn't just come from one place. So Vlad Dracula is Vlad the Impaler is sort of the root of all the modern vampire, thoughts about Dracula and this and that. But apparently there's been legends of vampires as like forms of demons since there's been people. Like demons or spirits and all the shit that feeds off of human blood to sustain itself has been the ancient Mesopotamians, Hebrews, ancient Greeks, ancient Romans. Everyone had a form of a vampire-like creature all the way through. Not even like with, just with Transylvania. Obviously that's where Vlad Dracula lived. So, that's why the Transylvania Dracula thing like that. But even before that, man, they always had it. Which, anyway, that doesn't really have a lot to do with this episode other than the drinking of blood origin there. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I actually haven't read the, was it Bram Stoker? Is that his name?
Yeah, Bram Stoker, yeah.
Bram Stoker. In the beginning of the book, he says, for the blood is the life. And that's a quote from Deuteronomy in the Bible.
That's crazy.
Pretty cool.
Dude, that book, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, I want to read it
now. That will
now.
keep you up at night. The movies suck, dude.
Oh,
they
they
paint
all
him
do.
to be this, this kind of pansy, dude. But in the book, it's just so dark and creepy. Ooh. And it's this tension that the movies don't show, with this tension that, like, Jonathan Harker, he's in the Count's castle, and like from chapter to chapter and chapter, he doesn't know what's happening, and then it's just this weird tension that just really makes your skin crawl. I can't really explain it,
I'll tell you, man, it is always the build-up that's the scariest.
Yeah,
it keeps you
that's
up at
what
night.
it is the build-up. Because it's just like, what's going to happen? When's it going to happen? Like, he knew that Dracula is, like, spying on him at night. Ooh. Like, he just sensed it. He could feel him watching him. It's just, and he just kept building it up and up and up. It's just so creepy, dude.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of Dracula, what's I think an underrated film or flick or movie, however you want to say it, is Van Helsing. Dude, with Hugh Jackman. Yeah. So Van Helsing was the doctor that Dracula was using to. I can't remember all the details about it, but that was a doctor there. That's cool. I need to read that book then, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to get around to it. Classic. So we'll do like a quick recap of like the ancient history of drinking blood, but this is pretty badass, okay? So in ancient Rome, like the physicians, which I'll throw that term around loosely, right? Physicians, they would prescribe people to drink goat or lamb blood because they thought it would help with epilepsy. And later they decided, what would even be better than lamb or goat blood is, how they had these big, obviously gladiator battles, and just shitload of people would die. Yeah. And these people were always like at the peak of physical condition. Like they were the healthiest, strongest. So they would have like the epileptics hanging around, creeping around the damn Colosseum until these gladiators would die. And they would run up and they would drink the blood after they died, like when they bring the body off, like pouring from the wounds.
Oh my lord, dude! Like leeches,
sick?
Almost. Ugh.
They are like leeches, man, and they thought it would help with their
creepy, man,
with their epilepsy. Yeah. There's. I mean, if you listen to the show, you've probably heard us talk about people drinking, animal blood and all different cures for everything. It's basically they think like that blood is life, as for the blood is the life, as Bram Stoker said. Yeah, as
That's crazy.
the big G said too. You know, they thought if you consume it, then it will give life. But tons of stuff back in ancient times. I'll put this up on quackerypodcast.com. This is from a quote from the Charlotte Observer. So I don't know any of you guys who are from NC up there. Go ahead, take your shirt off. North Carolina. You don't remember that song? Take your shirt off and put it on your head.
Yeah, like a
helicopter.
Yeah. You know, Cam Newton just signed to
the Pats. I bet your girl's thrilled, man. Super Bowl's coming. Cammy Cam.
No, it ain't.
There's this one quote where they're interviewing him and it said, Cammy Cam love the kids. They're talking about a charity or something, but it's a hilarious quote. He's an interesting guy. Talented dude. All right. So this is from, actually, it's weird. It's a reprint in the Wilmington paper that was like, the Charlotte Observer says this, and then they just copied what the Observer said for their readers in Wilmington, which is hilarious. People were beginning to get weak and unwell from having tuberculosis. This is May 1st, 1874. So they started, the gentleman was reduced to under 100 pounds and started drinking the blood of goats and lambs, and after the animals were slain while it was still warm. He eventually became well and put on normal strength and flesh. And he grew more vigorous each day, and now, though not entirely well, weighs 170 pounds and is improving rapidly.
Jeez.
So they were, even in 1874, which is not that long ago, he was drinking animals' blood to try to cure tuberculosis.
Don't we kind of do that? All right, so when you go and get a nice big steak, you're basically drinking the blood, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
so it can't be terrible for you.
Some cooks out. Yeah, no, we'll get into, so that'll be obviously the big aha moment will be what is drinking blood do to you. So before we get into that, though, obviously we should talk about anemia. So, because obviously a lot of these people would think that anemia or not having enough red blood cells would be why a lot of this drinking blood, why it would make sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically you're going to have less red blood cells. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel weak. There's different kinds of anemia, but you can basically usually treat it by having a healthy, balanced diet. But not everyone can. So I don't want to, there's different kinds of anemia, but yeah, you'll get weak and lightheaded. Actually, when I was in college, I had a bleeding ulcer and I didn't know about it. And I was pooping black, and that was digested blood. And I just thought, like, man, I must have eaten something weird. So I just let it go on for like a few days, and I got paler and paler and paler, and I was getting anemic. And eventually, I couldn't even walk up the stairs without having to rest. I was like, man, I'm out of shape. I didn't know what was going on.
It's because you're drinking so much, man.
Too much booze.
Was that it for real?
No, it was, I actually had gotten poison ivy, and had to take a steroid pack for it, and I was taking a bunch of ibuprofen too, and it burned a little ulcer in my stomach. So you got to be careful, man. Just because stuff's over the counter doesn't mean it's always safe.
Jesus.
And so, yeah, I didn't know anything about that. So I ended up having to go to the hospital, get some blood transfused. So my hemoglobin was really low.
I wonder whose blood you got.
I know.
It's like
I wonder if I'm
Seinfeld episode
super strong.
Kramer.
What happened to that one? I don't
remember.
You never
saw Seinfeld? Where
I watched Seinfeld. I don't remember.
Well, Jerry lost a lot of his blood, and then the only person that donated at the time was Kramer.
Did he start acting like him? Like, ugh. In the show? No, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the episode.
No, that's where it ended. He was like, no.
Oh, it's Kramer's blood. Hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This is a little word from our friend, the Quack Doctor. She goes by the Quack Writer on Instagram or thequackdoctor.com. She's going to tell us a little bit about drinking blood here and some insights from over there in jolly old England. So go ahead and take that away.
Blood drinking was known as a treatment, and there'd been a bit of publicity about it in the 1890s, so the average potential customer might have been familiar with the idea. There'd been some reports coming in, every so often reports would come in from Paris, that blood drinking was the latest fashionable thing for anemia, and for quite a few other conditions as well, things like consumption, scrofula, asthma and things like that. Now, it does sound as though undergoing this treatment could be a bit of a traumatic experience, but perhaps people were seeing it as a last resort. Maybe there was a kind of no pain, no gain attitude going on.
See, I thought anemia for some reason was not having enough blood, not having, now I know is not having enough red blood cells.
Which, same thing. So there's the plasma, there's the red blood cells, white blood cells, but ultimately, it's not like it's going to be, you cut yourself and it's going to be dust coming out. You know that old, your mama so old, when you cut her wrist, dust come out. Your mama so fat, when you cut her wrist, gravy come out. You know what I'm talking about? You guys used to do that? Your mama so ugly.
Yeah.
We had to tie a pork chop around her neck so the dog would play with her. That kind of stuff.
It's stupid.
Yo mama jokes are the best, man.
Yeah.
Oh, did you ever watch, side note here, there was a show called Yo Mama, and it was with Fez off of That 70s Show. He hosted it.
Oh, really?
And it was like they'd get two people together and they'd do Yo Mama jokes, and then they'd pick the winner. It probably went on for like half a season before it got canceled. Probably on like VH1 or something,
That's that and 70s Show.
Yo Mama.
What have you seen him in anything else?
No, he's just living off that 70s Show money.
That royalties. I wonder how much he gets from that.
I don't know. So anyway, the way, if you were curious, I don't know if there's anyone out there who does, basically your hemoglobin is a structure on your red blood cell that requires iron, and it carries oxygen, to parts of your body that need it from your lungs. Obviously it'll oxygenate there, pick it up, drop it off, Then here in 1890, which is actually after the TB one, there was a quack doctor who sold patent cures, popularized drinking ox blood in the late 1800s, early 1900s. They said this one quack doctor, according to people who watched it, took a gun and shot himself in the ass. It must have been like a low caliber, and then drank warm, fresh ox blood, and he said it can restore all the vigor of life to all manner of complaints, even those who are under a vampire's attack. That's what he said.
Jesus.
So a lot of people, isn't that hilarious? Dude, that is a way to get...
Yeah.
Dude, I should shoot you in the ass, and then we should try it, and then we could get a bunch of views.
Dude, I'll do it, man. Let's do it.
You could probably shoot me. I stand up at work. I don't sit down, so I don't need, I don't need any of that meat.
I'll do anything to get famous. You know that. You name it.
Yeah, when are we going to do the thing where you put the chicken down your pants? We got to wait for more people to be out on King Street, right?
Yeah.
It won't be worth it if it's just, you.
Damn, that was like episode 1. What?
I don't remember, but all I remember is you said you would do it, and I'm holding you to it. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Holy shit.
You said, yeah, I can imagine. Been thinking about it ever since. He said a bunch of other people who saw these ads, and they jumped on the bandwagon because you can get ox blood, cow blood, any of these, they're slaughtering animals all the time. You can get this stuff anywhere. And they said a lot of times they would add like a little bit of morphine or opium to the bottle, so then people would really like it.
Yeah, I bet.
But what people realized, they were like, well, if what these guys are advertising, that the fresher the better, then why wouldn't I just go to the butcher and get blood right from the source? So they did. So
that's smart.
The quack doctor, the quack salesman, had to come up with something new.
I've got some details here from a correspondent to the nursing record. This was Edward Connor, who had apparently witnessed this in Paris and said what people had to do if they had anemia. So I'm just going to read out some of what he wrote. He said, "There are in the vicinity of the Paris slaughterhouses places where invalids can obtain a glass of blood, warm and hissing, as it leaves the ox that has just been felled. These stalls have many customers. A glass of bullock's blood costs 12 sous. With beginners, it is sipped with the courage of resignation, for it is a last resource. A water biscuit is dipped therein to inaugurate the new cure. The glass is ever kept in a basin of warm water to retard coagulation of the contents. When accustomed to the beverage, it is drunk like a nauseous mineral water."
And the most famous of these that I saw, actually what inspired me to do this whole episode, is this product called Bovenine. And there's all these really cool, advertisements for it. It is it's cow blood, bovine blood, right?
Yeah.
They would put alcohol in there, blood, salt, and glycerin, and they said it would strengthen the body. Obviously, it could cure anemia. And let me see if I can get in here close and read this. Bovenine.
I love that, dude.
A household necessity prescribed by more than 25,000 physicians during the present year. It will sustain and nourish babies, children, invalids, and aged people with all else fails. Creates new and vitalized blood faster than any other food preparation in the world. Can you imagine if we came up with something and we were like, give this to invalids?
Yeah.
Wow. Builds up the entire system after severe illness when recovery is slow and the appetite poor. Nursing mothers, teething infants, a puny child.
A puny child?
Surprisingly by its use, a change for the better, being perceptible often within 24 hours. It is the only thing that will permanently cure nervous prostration, dyspepsia, cholera infantum, and excessive irritability of the stomach from any cause. Read remarkable testimonies from do you ever say that, Colonel? You read it as colonel, and you're like, son of a bitch. It's tricked me.
No, I don't do that. Colonel?
It's C-O-L-O-N-A-L. Colonel.
Well, then again, I was in the military.
Like a popcorn kernel. A kernel would be K-E-R-N... Colonel.
Yeah. Colonel.
Colonel. I'm going to say colonel, for God's sakes. Just to make you mad. Yeah. Colonel Fred Grant regarding the prolongation of his father's life by the use of Bovenine. During the last 4 months of his sickness, the principal food of my father, General Grant, was Bovenine and milk. And it was the use of this incomparable food alone that enabled him to finish the second volume of his personal memoirs. October 1st, 1885, Fred D. Grant. Yeah, that's pretty great, right? So there's a picture here of a little girl holding up like a picture of a cow.
Yeah.
It says, the great tonic and restorative fluid food, the true elixir of life. And it basically has all those same things again with this little girl, like picture of young child whose life was saved by Bovenine.
Jeez, this is crazy.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, no, this is like, it's kind of hard to find out about this stuff. Like, it says, ask your druggist for it.
You know what it reminds me of, sort of? So, like and as you definitely know, like the weightlifting community, these guys will take like deer antler and all this stuff.
Yeah, what the hell is up with that? Like, they're like, and I'm taking deer antler.
Deer antler.
Like, how are you taking it?
Of the ass.
You're just taking like a knob of deer antler and just ramming it up your butthole? Man, you've never seen such gains. Yeah. And I'm always erect. Yeah. Oh my God.
Holy shit.
No, I don't know. I guess it's, packed full of HGH and testosterone and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. The tough part with taking all that stuff is... Yeah.
Have you seen the Belgium... I think they're Belgian bulls or Belgium cows. And let me look it up.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger
the ones that
bulls.
only produce testosterone.
Ooh.
And they're just...
Yeah, I feel emasculated when I see those things.
Yeah, me too, man. There's just like a walking muscle. It's like
Does anyone eat those things? I mean, you probably can't kill them.
Holy shit. No. Those things are beautiful, I think.
Why can't we just like figure out what the mutation is that makes them produce so much testosterone so I can have that? So I can just walk around looking like a bull.
Yeah, they're pure muscle, man.
Because clearly,
they look great.
Injecting testosterone works until you stop.
Yeah,
and you can have a lot of side effects from it, right?
Yeah, look at my boobs.
I got boobs, and I didn't even do it. What the hell? I should have injected testosterone. Mine are small, though. Mine are small. My son, if I have my shirt off, he gets really confused. I don't know, for you as you know, he's like 9 months old, so he's still breastfeeding, and he'll like look up at my boobs and like poke them, like with this really, he'll just like, what? That's not the thing. That's not it. There's no milk in these.
That's crazy.
He pokes them, and then sometimes if you're not paying attention, he'll pinch the shit out of your nipples.
Jesus,
I'm like, dude, you're a bully. Damn bully, man. And this one, as far as I can tell here, Dr. Acker's blood elixir, it was blood, but there were a lot of blood elixirs at the time, like to strengthen your blood, that weren't made of blood. But as far as I could tell, this one was. It said, this is an advertisement. We can and do. That's the title of it. Guarantee Dr. Acker's blood elixir, for it has been fully demonstrated to the people of this country that is superior to all other preparations for blood diseases. It is a positive cure for syphilis. Sorry. Syphilitic poisoning, which would be like okay, I'll finish this and then I'll ask you if you know about this. It is a positive cure for syphilitic poisoning, ulcers, eruptions, and pimples. It purifies the whole system and thoroughly builds up the constitution. Sold by Guy A. Johnson. Some guy named Johnson. Some guy's Johnson.
Eruptions and pimples.
Yeah. So, do you know about that, what the U.S. government did with syphilis?
No, I don't. Now I'm really curious. I know something called black syphilis.
So
your tongue gets black. Maybe that's just an urban legend.
If you, so we can easily treat.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. We tested all this medicine in like one of these little countries.
No, in America.
Oh, in America, okay.
It's called the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to give you guys a taste. Maybe we'll do this episode all next week because this shit is
messed
crazy.
up. Yeah, I remember hearing about it.
It's crazy. So basically, they had a bunch of people, and it's very sad that there was a bunch of African American males who had syphilis, and they left it untreated to see what would happen when it was beyond the point where we had a known cure. Because you can take antibiotics and cure it. And there's all sorts of shit that happened to them. And that's between 1932 and 1972. That's how long the study went on. How messed up was that?
Yeah, really messed up. Because doesn't it make you crazy? Doesn't it mess with you?
Yes. All sorts of stuff. You know what? I'm going to save that. That's a little teaser. Yeah. Let's do that next week. You good with that? I
didn't know you could cure it. I thought it was...
Yeah, so we'll talk about this. This will be the episode next week. I love it. Because I had something, I'm started working on, but you know what? I'll push that back to the next week because I think this is a good one for next week.
Yeah,
we'll do this.
I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, this is crazy shit. So don't look at it. Just keep that in mind.
I won't.
And we'll be back next week with that one. Okay, so let me go from Dr. Ackerman to... Actually, this is going back in time a little bit. I messed up my timeline here a little bit. But there was a pope. His name was Pope Innocent VIII, and he was anything but innocent, man. So, I mean, I didn't look up his whole life. I think he did some good things, but dude, this is a conspiracy. This Pope, this guy really tickled my interest. Okay, so the reason why he's on this, so the reason he's on this episode, so when he was about to die, his doctor, the Popal doctor, whoever, allegedly killed 3 Jewish boys who were 10 years old. Now, first off, what the fuck? Because obviously this is the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope. Yeah. So did they just kidnap these Jewish people and kill them? And then allegedly the doctor fed all 3 of these boys blood while it's still warm to Pope Innocent to keep him alive. Allegedly... It did not work. So there's also, he died. Well, air quotes, I'm going to say died here, okay? And I will tell you why I say that. The legend goes that he either drank it or they tried to transfuse it actually into his veins, and that was one of the first transfusions like we do in modern times. But, okay, so if you go to St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome and look at Pope Innocent VIII's tomb, it reads... Nel tempo del suo pontificato, la gloria della scoperta di un nuovo mondo, which translates to, during his pontificate, which means when he was the Pope, the glory of the discovery of a new world. So, to me, that's very interesting.
Yeah. I know
Did
where
he
you're
discover
going
a new world? Like, Did he become a vampire? Did he discover new life?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just like a conspiracy. There actually is a different conspiracy that's the more commonly held belief here, and this might blow your mind too. He died 1492. He died. Now, 1492, that year sounds like it rings a bell. What happened in 1492 there, John?
The Renaissance?
1492, something about
Columbus?
ocean blue. There you go. Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Now, Columbus didn't supposedly discover America until October 12th, 1492. And when Pope Innocent was dead before then, and he had it already made on his tombstone, that carving, when Christopher Columbus discovered the New World. So the conspiracy goes that he actually had found it previously, and there was a small group of people who knew about it, and he went back and officially discovered the Americas in 1492. Isn't that shit wild?
That is so crazy, man.
Isn't that cool?
The discovery of a new world. Oh man, that is crazy.
It just makes you believe, like, what is the Catholic Church up to?
Why would
they're
they
so
put that
powerful.
on the tombstone, though, if they wanted to keep it secret?
That's the ultimate, like, going out like a boss. Like, hey, I got it on my tombstone. Basically, it'd be like, aliens is real, told you so. Will the pill, 2020. Be like, 2021, we found out the reason 2020 sucked was because of aliens. That son of a bitch knew the whole time. That's why they killed him. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
here we go. So
man.
He died in July. That's what July 25th, and that he had it made before then. Now there is another, obviously, explanation is just that some asshole made it later and just basically said, we'll give him credit, even though he was dead.
Oh, okay,
but they say that it was etched when he died because they don't mess around and, like, not do things officially when a pope dies.
Yeah,
that's just by the book, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool, though, huh?
Yeah, it's really cool.
So here is a story from Ovens and Murray advertisement in 1876. They call it an accidental vampire. The other case was that of a woman of 25 threatened with a decline. By the advice of a physician, she took 4 times a day a tablespoon of cod liver oil mixed with a glassful of blood. The woman was restored to health, but while she left off taking the oil, she continued the dose of blood. At this time, her husband met with an accident on the staircase of their house, by which he lacerated the back of his hand and wrist with broken glass. She rushed to help him in alarm to stem the flow of blood, but instead of stemming it, she put her mouth to it and swooned away, sucking his blood, and lay ghastly, exhausted, and motionless as one dead. The timely arrival of the landlord prevented a fatal catastrophe. The wretched wife was alternating sucking her husband's wrists and bewailing his misfortune in heart-rending tones. Her face was smirched with blood, her mouth literally dripping gore. The landlady at first imagined that she saw before her a terrible accident to the husband that had culminated in the suicide of the wife. But obviously she was addicted to drinking blood, right?
Yeah.
That's 1876. Now,
that's actually pretty hot, dude.
Keep that in mind. That's, what if you always think about those vampire movies, she's probably like rubbing it down her, what do they wear at that point?
Brassieres or whatever.
Brassiere, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's not good. I don't know any old, pantaloons. Okay, so here is a group of people I found in 1890. They're called the Blood Drinking Samaritans. So it's actually a sect of a Missouri church. They believe human blood is a panacea for all ailings in Kansas City, Missouri. Now, panacea would be like a cure-all, right?
Yeah.
So they actually, this was this guy wrote to the paper here. He said, "There is something I think ought to be called to your attention at once, which I think is bad for civilized community, which is there is John Wrinkle and his 2 children. They have been sick and is crazy on religion. His little girl Minnie is 13-year-old and boy is John is 11.
What?
Wrinkle has heard of people drinking blood at slaughterhouses for their health, and he believed in the Bible that it preached that the well should be made sacrifices for the sick. He did bled the little girl and boy until their wrecks, and he did drink the blood.
Jesus.
It had leaked out unless something is done by the neighbors. We'll take things into our own hands, and that quick, too. He lives on a little piece of land near the new city limits. Yours respectfully, George West. P.S. Send some officers.
Send some officers.
He did. So someone saved this letter that he wrote. Yeah, he read it to the Humane Society. So they sent some officers to investigate. They basically went in there and they were just saying that they were only drinking, animal blood, but they found out there was a lot of these people, the Samaritans, right? And they advocated drinking blood for all diseases. The Bible taught that blood is life, obviously, like we saw,
Deuteronomy.
From Deuteronomy 12:23, the blood is the life. And so they took that literally. And almost daily pilgrimages were made by those who were ailing to the packing houses where they drank the blood of the freshly killed beeves. Beeves.
Beeves. That's weird.
Beeves.
Dude, I can't just imagine people walking up to the butcher house and just...
That's crazy.
Ugh, dude, what? I mean, this was 100 years ago.
Capsuloids weren't really a fraudulent product as such. They did contain what they were supposed to contain, but some of the marketing claims that Dixon made just had it straying into the realms of quackery. For example, he used a marketing ploy that's still popular in today's quackery as well, and that is to discredit the medical profession by making the standard treatment sound so bad that the alternative product is a much better option. So with that in mind, Dixon advertised to customers that if they had anemia, their doctor was going to tell them to go and drink fresh blood from the butcher. So adverts described a scene where this actually happens to somebody. Adverts in different regions of the country would change the name of the person that this happened to, so that it would always be somebody local, but I'll read out a general example. He drank fresh blood every day at the butcher's. His doctor had ordered him to do so. He was pale, anemic, had indigestion, constipation, bloating, palpitation, and was spitting up considerable, and he had lost over 21 pounds. He grew sick of the smell and taste of fresh blood and could not swallow it any longer.
Whatever.
You keep this in mind. So there's a lot more on here. I'll put it all up on quackerypodcast.com, all about the Samaritans. They're pretty interesting, but I thought the best part was when old George West, sent some officers.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question now is, do people still drink blood for health? Well, I found an article where DJ Williams was just a sociologist, did research, and he found out there are a lot of people. Apparently, from what we can tell, most major cities across the world seem to have a vampire community, end quote.
What?
Many real-life vampires have no belief in the paranormal and have little more than a passing knowledge of True Blood or Dracula, nor do they appear to have any psychiatric issues. Instead, they claim to suffer from a strange medical condition, fatigue, headaches, and excruciating stomach pain, which they believe can only be treated by feeding on another human's blood.
But as Connor went on to say, drinking blood wasn't the only thing you could do there. You could also bathe in it. And that was done right at the side of the killing yards of the slaughterhouse. He said, a little warm water is placed inside the bath, which is afterwards filled up with blood brought in pails by slaughtermen, who are themselves smeared with the red liquid. After the patient has remained in the bath for an hour, immersed to the chin, he is wrapped up in a woolen rug for 20 minutes, then wiped with warm sponges.
That is so weird. It reminds me of the people with the electromagnetic sickness or whatever.
Yeah.
And it can only be cured by...
them.
Yeah.
So this was in BBC's article Future. by David
That's
Robson
nuts, man.
in 2015. Yeah, so at the beginning of it talks about a guy in New Orleans, John Edgar Browning, and so the author of this goes to his house and watches him feed on someone. He like gets them to like pull their shirt up and he cuts his back and he drinks it and he says he didn't like the taste of it. It wasn't metallic enough, so he bandaged the person and let him go.
That is
Isn't that
like
weird?
the exact same plot in True Blood. You know, they're in Louisiana, and there are scenes where they go and they're just feeding on people that they don't kill them; they just feed on them, you know, and then let them go. Holy Jesus! This is real?
This is real.
Whoa!
Do you
How
remember?
do I sign up
does
for
this
this?
bring anything back?
This is crazy, man.
Isn't that crazy? Obviously, I told you the penultimate finale. The answer is drinking blood safe. Can you do it? Sure, it is safe. Obviously, the one thing you'll have to consider are bloodborne illnesses and diseases. You know, not all blood is going to be clean. You don't know if it's safe. The other thing is, and you may remember this from a nice little movie, also from a good book, Fight Club.
Yeah.
You can swallow how much human blood before throwing up? You remember what he says on there?
You can swallow a pint of blood before you get sick.
Blood has a ton of iron in it, which is a reason why it would theoretically work for these anemia conditions. Problem is, your body has a really hard time using all that iron at once and excreting it. So if you get too much iron, you're going to get an iron overdose, and in high enough doses, it will be toxic, which is the reason why like multivitamins, iron supplements all have to have childproof caps, because if you think about it, you get a child, if they eat a whole thing of multivitamin chewables that have iron in them, you know, they could die. So you have to be careful with that. That's why, especially now when they taste like candy and gummies and all that stuff. So put any iron-containing vitamins out of your kid's reach, just FYI. But that's the main concern, other than the fact that, you know, if you could get some diseases from it. But just crazy how much it's still a thing, right? That was 2015 when I saw that.
That's insane.
You know, there's some weird people who are like, they think they're all like inherited money, and they just think they're, maybe I'm gonna drink blood for my constitution.
Well, maybe maybe they found the eternal life remedy.
Maybe they did, man. I mean, you can't knock it until you try it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that'd be like, you know, you drink the blood on the steak, about the same, you know, just cooked, and there's a lot less of it. So that's why they said that's what makes the those fake meats. Oh, I tried some, by the way.
Impossible Burgers?
Beyond Meat. You tried that one?
It's good.
So they make it bleed like a burger with like beet juice and all these different kind of things in there, right?
Yes, crazy.
So, and it's good. I thought it's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions on drinking? I want to drink your blood.
No, but I'm thirsty. What?
Nicole better watch out. She's going to have like bite marks on her neck when she wakes up tomorrow. Like, what happened? John? The hell? All right. Well, that's our show. Yeah, and if you get a chance, check out the Quack Doctor's book,
which is called The Quack Doctor, Historical Remedies for All Your Ills.
And we really appreciate her contribution. If you get a chance to check out her Instagram, she's always putting up cool old medical stuff.
If you'd like to see more quack remedies from the Victorian and Edwardian eras, and especially historical advertising images, then you can check out my Instagram at Quackwriter, or my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/quackdoctor.
I get some of my ideas on topics from just following her website and her Instagram. So thanks a lot, Quack Doctor. If this episode really quacked y'all up and you want to support the crew, head on over to quackerypodcast.com/join and become an official Quackhead. Make sure to hit us up and subscribe. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out all the pictures from the show on quackerypodcast.com. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts. It makes a huge difference. Tell your friends. And as always, keep calm and quack on.